Good morning. Welcome to Just for Today, a time of eclectic reading, sharing of perspectives, meditation, and prayer. I'm Reverend Rafe Ellis, Senior Minister and Spiritual Leader of the newly joined Centers for Spiritual Living Communities of Greater Baltimore and Columbia. Today is August 19th. And this morning I'm going to be reading from the Practitioner Handbook for Spiritual Mind Healing by Reverend Mary Mitchell. And I opened it up to chapter 7. Excuse me. Practical forgiveness. And here's the first paragraph. A recent article I read about forgiveness said one of the most fundamental laws of the universe is that everything seeks to perpetuate itself. Perpetuate means to try to cause something to last indefinitely. Now that may seem an odd way to think about the subject of forgiveness, but follow this thinking. If we watch any of the nature shows, we see that a species perpetuates itself by defending itself, eating other animals or plants, and producing offspring. As human beings, we survive by defending ourselves, eating other animals or plants, and producing offspring. Yet, as a thinking and reasoning animal, we also perpetuate our belief of right and wrong, good and bad, in the way we handle the tasks of obtaining food, shelter, and clothing. We get really comfortable with our belief system and like to surround ourselves with people who share our beliefs. From there, we like to perpetuate our opinions about on from there we like to perpetuate our opinions on every subject, personality, and experience, and we are always very glad to find someone who shares our opinion. I'm going to stop there. And I realize that doesn't get into what she's talking about on forgiveness. And I think you can connect the dots. We are at choice. We can perpetuate forgiveness or we can perpetuate resentment. It seems like such a simple choice. And ultimately, it is a simple choice. That doesn't mean it's an easy practice, right? A simple choice doesn't mean easy. But this does offer us the awareness, the idea, the option, if you will, to choose to perpetuate forgiveness. For that matter, to choose to perpetuate anything. We can perpetuate our old belief system, or we can perpetuate a new belief system. We can perpetuate love, or we can perpetuate hate. What is it that we want to perpetuate? What is it that we want to ignite and then do everything in our power to make sure that that is sustained and grown indefinitely? How would we procreate love? How would we procreate forgiveness? Um, it's an interesting it's an interesting consideration, if you will. How do we perpetuate peace? How do we nourish peace? What needs to happen for us to birth more peace, to birth more calm, to perpetuate what is in alignment with spiritual principle? I hesitate to say what we want because some of what we want falls into perpetuating our way versus somebody else's way. And so, what we would actually be perpetuating in that scenario is divisiveness. Um, are we willing to truly birth a world that works? Period. A world where there's room for and an appreciation of and a perpetuation of a celebration of diversity. Is there room for that? Are we willing to perpetuate that? Are we willing to perpetuate unity over divisiveness? Are we willing to perpetuate compromise over separation? Are we willing to perpetuate sharing over collecting and restricting? And are we willing to start with ourselves? It's an interesting concept. So that's what that reading sparks in me this morning. And I know we have some folks that joined after the reading, so I'm going to just read this paragraph through one more time and take us into our meditation. A recent article I read about forgiveness said one of the most fundamental laws of the universe is that everything seeks to perpetuate itself. Perpetuate means to try to cause something to last indefinitely. Now, that may seem like an odd way to think about the subject of forgiveness, but follow this thinking. If you watch any of the nature shows, you see that a species perpetuates itself by defending itself and eating other animals or plants and producing offspring. As human beings, we survive by defending ourselves, by eating other animals or plants and producing offspring. Yet, as a thinking and reasoning animal, we also perpetuate our belief of right and wrong, good and bad, in the way we handle the tasks of obtaining food, shelter, and clothing. We get really comfortable with our belief system and like to surround ourselves with people who share our belief system. From there, we like to perpetuate our opinions on every subject, personality, and experience. And we are always very glad to find someone who shares our opinion. So let's take that into our time of meditation and contemplation. one substance, one source, one activity, one creation, one consciousness, one reality, one life, one peace, one power, everywhere present, nameless, changeless, showing itself, expressing itself as every breath of wind, as every element in nature, as the perpetuated processes of life. Infinite possibility, moving itself into expression. Every butterfly, every rainbow, every storm, every bug, every bite, everything is this one expressing. By whatever name we call it, it is so much more. It is the kinship. It is that connecting substance that makes all of life one body. And so I know that I am a part of that body. I am a cell within the body. That all of the brilliance, all of the intelligence, the very operation of creation is the very makeup of my being. It is the substance of me. And as I hear the bird in the distance, I recognize that the same substance is singing. I am one with that. I am connected with that. We share spiritual DNA, spiritual substance, expressing as the beautiful song of the bird and as me. And as this microphone, the very chair I'm sitting in, the technology that I'm using, all one consciousness expressing itself in form. And so I claim and affirm that what is true of me must be true of all, true of the bird, true of everything and everyone. And so infinite intelligence is everywhere I look. Infinite beauty is everything I see. The song of life is the only song I have ever heard. And being in complete kinship, I recognize that what I speak in the first person, I speak for the body, the whole body. And so I claim and affirm that we are awakening to the power of choice that was born in us. A choice of how to direct our use of consciousness. What to perpetuate. I claim and affirm an awakening and an alignment to know the desires within me, the life within me, to express, to perpetuate itself. Life perpetuating life, love perpetuating love, peace perpetuating peace. claim and affirm that that is the activity of this day. To perpetuate abundance. To perpetuate that perfect wholeness that life simply is. And so I celebrate as I feel that intention, as I feel the activity of law within the doer of the creative process. Whisper its yes. It is done. I know I can let go. I know I can free my use of mind. I can free my attention from any focus on resistance and be present with perpetuating the desires of the heart. I let go. I let go of all the distractions. I let go of all the resistance. And I perpetuate spiritual alignment. I perpetuate life. Ashe. Shalom. Aho. Amen. Amen. And so it is. Namaste.